There is a wasp hovering near your garden hose right now, or there has been one recently, and your first instinct when you saw it was probably to reach for something: a shoe, a spray can, a rolled-up magazine. It was large. It was loud. It moved with a confidence that felt threatening, and everything in your experience told you that a wasp that size, that close to your home, was a problem that needed to be dealt with immediately. But what if that instinct was completely wrong? What if the creature you were about to destroy was one of the most valuable allies your garden has ever had? And what if disturbing it was one of the worst decisions you could make for your yard, your soil, and the ecosystem your family depends on every single season? Today, we need to talk about the great golden digger wasp, Sphex ichneumonius, and by the end of this, you will understand exactly why some of the most experienced gardeners and entomologists in the country make a deliberate point of leaving this animal alone, no matter how large it looks, no matter how close it gets, and no matter how uncomfortable it makes you feel to share your garden space with something that size. Let's start with why it is near your garden hose at all. The great golden digger wasp is a ground nesting species. The female, which is the one you are seeing because males do not sting, selects soft, warm, slightly moist soil in which to excavate her burrow. The area around a garden hose, where water pools and drains regularly, where the ground stays loose and workable, is precisely the kind of real estate she is looking for. She is not drawn to you. She is not interested in your presence. She has found a location with the right soil texture, the right moisture level, and the right sun exposure, and she is doing what her species has been doing for over 100 million years. She is building a nursery. Now, here is the part that will genuinely surprise most people who have spent years fearing this insect. The great golden digger wasp is a solitary species. She has no colony, no workers, no queen she is defending, no social hierarchy that triggers collective, coordinated aggression. The wasps that have earned your fear, yellow jackets, hornets, certain paper wasps, are colonial species. Their aggression is a social response, a defense mechanism built around protecting a shared structure full of thousands of nestmates. Remove that social structure, and you remove virtually all of the aggression. The golden digger wasp has nothing to defend collectively. Entomologists who study Sphex species regularly report that provoking a sting from a female requires sustained, deliberate physical interference. She can sting, but she almost never does. What she does instead is hunt. The great golden digger wasp is a specialist predator of large orthopteran insects, primarily katydids and grasshoppers, the very species that strip foliage from garden plants throughout summer and into early autumn. She does not kill them. She delivers a precise, calculated sting to the nerve ganglia of the prey item, paralyzing it without killing it, preserving it alive in a state of total immobility, a living, fresh food source. She then carries the paralyzed insect, sometimes one that outweighs her, back to her burrow. Think about what that means for your garden. Every active burrow near your hose represents a hunting female making repeated sorties into your yard, systematically removing the insects most responsible for damage to your vegetable beds, your ornamental plants, and your lawn. A single female great golden digger wasp will provision each brood chamber with 2 to 6 paralyzed prey items before sealing it. She may construct multiple chambers within a single season. Over the course of a summer, one female can remove dozens of large grasshoppers and katydids from the immediate area surrounding her nest. She is doing targeted pest control at a scale and precision that no spray, no trap, and no commercial intervention can match, and she is doing it for free, every day, in the ground beneath your feet. Are you paying attention to what that actually means? This is not a passive benefit. This is active, measurable, documented reduction of the insects most harmful to your garden, being performed by an animal you have been conditioned to fear. There is something else happening inside those burrows. that deserves your full attention. Each sealed chamber contains a single wasp egg laid on the surface of the paralyzed prey. When the larva hatches, it feeds on the preserved insects in sequence, consuming them over the course of several weeks. By the time it is finished, it pupates inside the sealed cell, undergoes complete metamorphosis, and emerges as a fully formed adult wasp. The entire developmental process unfolds underground, sealed away, utterly invisible to you. What you see on the surface, a few small mounds of excavated soil near your hose, is all the evidence that something extraordinary is taking place beneath it. Those mounds are not damage, they are construction. Now let's talk about the myths, because there are several, and they are costing this animal an unfair reputation. The most persistent one is that a wasp this size must be proportionally more dangerous. This is not how wasp biology works. Size in solitary wasps correlates with the size of prey they hunt, not with aggression toward humans. The great golden digger wasp is large because katydids are large. Her body is scaled to her prey, not to any threat she poses to you. Documented cases of unprovoked stinging in Sphex ichneumonius are extraordinarily rare. Researchers studying active nesting aggregations have stood within inches of females carrying prey without being stung. The second myth is that a nest in your yard is a nest that will keep growing. Solitary wasps do not expand colonies. She builds her chambers, seals them, and her work is finished. The nest does not persist. The third myth is that the soil disturbance near the nest is damaging your garden. It is not. The excavation is shallow, the disturbed area is small, and the aeration she creates in the soil is genuinely beneficial to root systems growing nearby. There is one more dimension to the great golden digger wasp that most people never learn, and this one speaks to something far larger than pest control. Sphex ichneumonius is one of the primary pollinators of a wide range of native wildflowers. Adults feed on nectar and move between flowering plants throughout the day. They are not honeybee-sized contributors to pollination. They are substantial ones, with bodies large enough to carry significant pollen loads between plants that smaller insects cannot service as effectively. Research on native plant communities has identified solitary hunting wasps as underappreciated pollination contributors in habitats where bee populations have declined. What is visiting your garden flowers is the same animal nesting near your hose. The great golden digger wasp has been present on this continent for an almost incomprehensible stretch of time. Fossil evidence places ancestral Sphex species in amber deposits dating back over 100 million years. They were hunting, they were nesting, they were provisioning their young in sealed underground chambers long before any flowering plant your garden contains had evolved. This is not a recent arrival adapting to suburban life. This is one of the oldest surviving functional designs in the insect world, and it has landed near your garden hose because your yard offered exactly what it has always needed. So what should you actually do? If there is an active nesting female near your hose, do not disturb the soil around her burrow. Do not redirect the hose to flood the area. Do not apply any granular or liquid pesticide to the surrounding ground. If the location of the nest is genuinely inconvenient, adjust your watering pattern slightly for the remainder of the season. She will finish her work within weeks. She will not return to the same site next year. She will not recruit others to expand the nest. She will complete her work and move on, and the chambers she sealed will remain underground, undisturbed, as her offspring complete their development through the autumn and winter. If you see her flying low over your lawn with something large clamped beneath her body, stop and watch. What you are witnessing is a hunting behavior refined over evolutionary time to a level of precision that still astonishes researchers who study it. She is carrying a paralyzed grasshopper that may weigh more than she does. She is navigating back to a burrow she has memorized in three-dimensional space. She is about to feed a generation of wasps that will emerge next summer and continue the same work she is doing now. Consider yourself fortunate that she chose your yard. Not every garden has one. The ones that do have something quietly extraordinary happening near the ground, near the water, near the ordinary things you walk past every single day without knowing what they shelter. If a golden digger wasp has ever nested near your garden hose, or if you have ever made the mistake of destroying one of these nests, tell me about it in the comments. And if someone you know is about to reach for a spray can near a burrow like this, share this with them before they do.